It's been remarkable seeing the journey of the characters in the Toy Story series as they've gone through friendships, owners, and all kinds of adventures. And through it all, the creative team at Pixar has maintained a consistently excellent level of quality, as I've loved all of the movies in the series. Woody and Buzz Lightyear are such important characters at Pixar, I'm sure they're often on their minds and coming up with potential new stories to tell with them. Hence why we keep getting these new movies every so often. With one of the original creators, Andrew Stanton, in the director's chair this time, that particularly made me curious about Toy Story 5. He has been, after all, with these characters the most out of anyone at Pixar, shaping and evolving them as a writer on the entire series. And with this film focusing on the impact of technology on their lives, that adds a new interesting element to the mix. So did I think it stacked up with the previous movies? The answer is absolutely yes, as Toy Story 5 is yet another brilliant film in the series. One of the most impressive things this movie does is how it juggles the multiple plot threads going on, as with following Woody and Buzz, Jessie, Bonnie, and multiple Buzz Lightyears who wash up on a beach. And it's a huge credit to Stanton and his co-director and co-writer Kenneth Harris that they managed to develop and give the needed time and attention to these storylines without one getting lost in the shuffle or feeling superfluous. And then the way they managed to connect all of them is a terrific piece of screenwriting. Although, as the opening scene makes clear, the central focus is on Jessie and how she deals with the arrival of this tablet that eventually starts to occupy Bonnie's time. It's more than just toys versus tech, as there are understandable reasons why Jessie is so concerned, and you feel this empathy for her throughout the situation. I knew when this premise for Toy Story 5 was announced, there would be more nuance to the message than just technology bad. This is, after all, a studio that exists partly because of Steve Jobs. The film does an excellent job of showing the negative effects of our modern technological world, and this need to be constantly glued to our screens. I do often think about what it does to children in particular, and how they end up raised by these things. However, the movie does an excellent job of showing the positives that can come from modern technology, and we see how the film explores this through its handling of Jessie's arc and its depiction of the lily pad character. What I also appreciate about the movie is how it further developed Bonnie. Actually gets a major arc here. In the other Toy Story movies, Andy and Bonnie are obviously pivotal to them, but a lot of the focus is still on the toys and their relationship with them. Bonnie is really fleshed out here and given a significant amount of screen time, and I thought the film did explore her with a lot of depth. So I grew an investment in the character, and also in this other girl, Blaze, and how she eventually connects to the larger story going on. Like I mentioned, we also have Woody and Buzz, and they continue to have a solid dynamic here, which humorously harkens back a bit to their difficult relationship in the first movie. It really highlights what makes them one of cinema history's best duos with their excellent back and forths. The humor remains on point in this entry. Of course, the returning characters continue to provide plenty of joy, with a lot of great quips and lines coming from them. Forky especially gets some of the funniest lines in Toy Story 5, as he occasionally gives his point of view about what's going on, with Tony Hale remaining a delight in the role. One of the new additions is Smarty Pants, an electronic toilet trainer with the voice of Conan O'Brien. O'Brien gives Smarty Pants a unique voice to the point if I did not know it was him beforehand, it would have taken me a while to pick up on it. He's a funny character, but the most amazing thing about him is that while there is quite a bit of toilet humor involving him, it somehow never becomes lowbrow. There's a cleverness to the jokes surrounding this character, and he's also given his own solid arc as he meets up with Jessie during the adventure. And then we have the emotional parts, which become a major aspect of the Toy Story movies. In all the films, there's a moment that tugs at the heartstrings as we get into the dilemmas these toys face and the desire to be played with. I will not dare spoil what the emotional moments in Toy Story 5 are, but I will say those scenes hit me really hard. And notice I said scenes, plural, because just when I thought I was done crying and they would return to the comedy, the movie went ahead and decided to break me again. Meanwhile, I think of all the Toy Story movies, this is probably the most important for children to see. It touches on aspects of their daily life that they will absolutely relate to, especially in this tech-filled era where more people get distracted looking at their phones and only half paying attention to each other. Although there's also universality to Bonnie's arc that anyone who is a child navigating the world and trying to be social will relate to in some way. Whether seeing yourself in her or a family member, I think the filmmaker has managed to capture something with the character. But it will be especially great for certain children to see they're not alone, and that wonderful empathy that runs throughout Toy Story 5 adds to how special it is. Empathy really is the core theme of this film, and the characters we're following, and it handles it beautifully. I love how these movies always manage to bring something new to the table with these toys and their, well, story. In my opinion, this might be the best film series ever, as the team at Pixar knock it out of the park in each entry. These are fantastic characters who have evolved in terrific ways since they first reached screens in 1995, and it means I'll always be excited where Woody, Buzz, Jessie, Mr. Potato Head, those squeaky toy aliens, and the other toys go next.